Hey, how's it going, everybody? Here at the end of the day again, here indulging in my hobby. I've been kind of hooked into this little gold fever thing for a while now. I don't get a whole lot out of it, but it's pretty fun for me. Anyways, I thought I'd make this quick video here to show you guys the little gold sluice that I made. It's a 3-step system here that's pretty simple, but actually has some pretty interesting ideas behind it. First, I made this little snail sluice here just out of a piece of corrugated plastic pipe. I cut it in half and I made this little chamber out of a bucket, obviously, and then it just sits inside of this mat chamber here, this little sluice underneath of it that catches the very fine gold. So what happens is we feed our material into here and we run the water through it, and then any of the bigger pieces of gold or the heavy materials will get settled into the bottom of the ripple chambers, and then the light material will continue on, and then it hits this little scoop here. Not a scoop, but a little ramp basically to redirect it this way. So actually there's a little mat trap behind it as well, so if anything does happen to get in behind it, there's a good trap for gold there as well. There's a low pressure system underneath of it right here that might capture some pretty good gold. And then the mat itself is rippled along the way, so the light stuff will go along the surface of it, and hopefully the gold, the very fine gold, will get trapped underneath of it. And then we have one more system into it as well. After the drain system comes, there's a small waterfall that falls from here, and it breaks the water. So it basically it breaks the surface tension of the water. So if there's any floating gold that made it past the 2 sluices, then it will sink. And the way that that big quartz is set up there is that the water is going to direct everything behind it, and it creates a little eddy in there so that the gold will be trapped in there. If anything makes it through the sluice system, it'll be in this corner here, and that's the stuff I'll pan out a little later. But for now, I'll just show you guys how I run the system. It's pretty simple. I've got a little hose here that runs down, and it's siphoning it out right now as we speak. I'd like it to be a little bit lower, but it'll still work for the video anyways, and we'll make a quick run here. I don't know if we'll see anything in the video, but I'll just show you how it's done. I'm going to set this camera up, and we'll put that into place like right there. Yeah, right there I think. And okay, so we'll set this into place here. And I've got this fine sand material that I've been working here this afternoon. It's from a riverbed up in Moose River, and it's pretty interesting stuff. I found some little flecks into it so far, but not a whole lot. So basically it's pretty simple. All I do is just dump the material into the chamber here, and it goes down these little ripples, and it's a fine balancing act. You just want the little pebbles to dribble down. And again, the heavy stuff will get settled down to the bottom of the ripples, and then you can kind of clean that up a little bit, and if anything passes by that, it hopefully gets trapped into the mat system as well. So I'll bring the camera back here and see if I can do this thing one-handed, just to show everybody. It's not siphoning out quite as quickly as I'd like it to be, but basically I just grab a scoop, load up the chamber here, now I know that ripples are full already, but that's actually not too bad because the gold will get stuck in between those still if there's any in there. So first I'll clean that out a little bit, and you can see the system here in a second. Once I get some, it will start to clean out the ripples and push that stuff ever so forward. And it's starting to get a little cleaner in there now. And you can pick up the pace a little bit. You can see the waterfall in action down there as well. That's pretty important actually, because if any floating gold is there, that breaks the surface tension and the gold will float, and should get trapped in behind of that piece of quartz down there. That piece of quartz is pretty good too, because it just kind of naturally wants to attract the gold anyways. They're pretty similar in atomic weight. So it's a pretty simple setup. I just run the stuff through the snail sluice at the top, and once that's all cleaned out there, I'll kind of give it a little shaking. Set that down for a second, and then I take this out of there and I put it into my bucket here, and then all I do to get that cleaned out is I just run a little bit of water down in there too. So there we go. Now there's all my gold and heavies. Any big particles should be in there, and any small stuff I hopefully will get trapped up into this mat system underneath of it. Very fine gold that passed through the snail sluice. Hopefully will be in here somewhere. And the final spot will be at that waterfall there. Like I said, it drops the tension. It's a little full right now, and ideally I'd like to have the rock exposed somewhat, but it still works anyways, because the gold is going to sink down to the bottom and behind that piece of quartz crystal, and it kind of creates a little bit of an eddy on each side. And you can kind of see how it's bunching up there in the corner. Anyways, that's my little gold sluice system. I don't know how it's going to work, but it's pretty interesting. I just built it there recently.